Who could have ever imagined we would witness three-digit silver under any scenario? Yet that's precisely what we're beginning to observe in China. I'll clarify what I mean as we delve deeper. Indeed, three-digit silver is occurring right now. But before I proceed into that, there's a bit of context I want to provide to you regarding what's taking place in China. I've been monitoring it rather attentively, mainly through the viewpoint of an individual who's highly informed, called Oriental Ghost on X. And he has been supplying us with a variety of different details about what's happening at the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the futures market there. And we've noticed this separation between Western and Eastern exchanges concerning silver. The headline here, which was shared just hours ago at the time of this recording, about what's occurring in the silver hub of China. They are essentially depleted of supply. CCTV Financial News reported that Yangqing in Shanghai, Hunan province, which constitutes 1/4 of the nation's silver output, is recognized as the silver capital of China. And most of the retailers are also out of silver bars. On his profile, he presents various things that I've discussed about the East Singapore, that people are lining up in lengthy queues to acquire gold and silver. And so, this is something we'll probably continue witnessing in Western exchanges as well. Some are already noting long lines, even in stores here in the United States. So, it's quite astonishing and remarkable to see. I believe, in a sense, this is happening regardless of what the price does now. I think individuals are awakening and beginning to purchase on the retail front. This is thrilling indeed. I've been an advocate of collecting silver, not so much of selling it. I trust in retaining long-term, perhaps in this persistent sort of manner. Yet I comprehend why some people might take profits. But I think maintaining some wealth beyond the system is also very significant. Now, the essence of what we're addressing here with this three-digit silver is quite intriguing. Most of you know about the disparity, the arbitrage chances that reveal themselves from elevated silver prices in China compared to here. For example, the latest report from the Shanghai Gold Exchange and the futures market was on the 17th of October, 2025, closing in US dollars at $53.33 for silver, while here in the United States, it was $51.90 something. So, there's already that slight margin between the Chinese, Asian, and Western markets, the London valuation. But there's a fresh method to assess silver, and that is the raw silver. Now, what exactly is raw silver? When I first discovered this, I thought, well, maybe it's silver that hasn't been completely refined yet. Silver that appears in door bars or similar forms, or just blocks of silver. Well, it appears they are precisely blocks of silver, raw bars, yet they are refined 0.999 fine, and they each weigh 15 kilograms. They're slabs of silver. I've seen clips of that too, individuals carrying those pieces out and purchasing them. And now it went from a specific cost of roughly $57 to $59, which was the last figure that I observed, and now at a range. So, it shifted from a single figure to a range of figures, with the lowest being $61.33 up to $128.68 per ounce. That's right, astounding to consider, but that's how immense the demand for silver is there. To corroborate this, if you review that report, it shows the Shanghai Futures Exchange silver vaults at 920 kilograms, declining 62 kilograms daily and part of a 249-ton weekly withdrawal. That's extraordinary. Now, I'm uncertain if that's entirely unparalleled or not, but it's a large amount moving out. It signifies that there is tremendous physical demand in China amid global silver values near $53 an ounce. Now, by the time you watch this video, who knows where silver's value will stand? We could continue to see a pounding, much like on Friday, or we could witness a rebound and climb right back. I believe either way, it's not going to resolve the circumstance. I think in certain ways, to a degree, lower valuations mean additional chances to purchase silver, like what we're already noticing. And we'll observe that in the East, and that's ultimately going to lift silver prices again. The Shanghai Gold Exchange silver reserves dropped 30 kilograms weekly to 1,118 kilograms, aligning with accounts of physical deliveries in Hong Kong and record drawdowns, which could intensify supply limitations for industrial consumers, such as solar panel manufacturers, which are booming in China presently. And that's clearly going to be even more interruptive. So we recognize that. And analysts interpret this as optimistic for silver, with exchanges possibly elevating some of the rates to retain the metal, contesting certain stories of abundant supply despite COMEX inventories staying consistent. And that's exactly it. The reason that's occurring is due to the concern of tariffs. And so, there's plenty of silver here on the COMEX, but not much in London. London is actually under substantial pressure, and now we're observing disturbances here. Indeed, they're attempting to transfer much of the silver from COMEX to replenish, if that's the proper term, the London inventories. So, captivating analysis here. It truly is something. And I tell you, it makes you ponder what will unfold later and how long this might endure. It might persist longer than even I anticipate. You know, there are certain signs that London could restabilize or at least exit crisis mode. And there is some evidence of that. But I also think that in China, the precise opposite might occur. And I believe that's going to imply a broader gap between Eastern and Western exchanges. But recall, most of this appetite and most of the consumption for silver are occurring in China. China is the epicenter of that. But we're beginning to see more commercial purchasers as well as institutional investors of silver in China. And that's a major matter, folks. Why? Because of China's population and how gold has grown so expensive that the next finest alternative is silver. There's potential there, especially considering the gold-to-silver ratio, which stays quite elevated amid these bull trends that both metals have experienced. The ratio hasn't really compressed down as many expected it would. So, individuals perceive possibilities there, and I think they're capitalizing on that. Now, for us in the United States, what does this signify? Not necessarily a great deal, aside from pressure on the price in the West compared to the East. In other words, this is probably going to reinforce the perception of the silver bull market and maybe even solidify the idea of above $50 for a prolonged period. That's right. In other words, the declines that we're observing, the dip we saw on Friday, which was massive, still remained above $50 an ounce, even at its lowest point of that period's downer. Now, as we progress into this trading week, again, I'm recording this before the exchange is open, but we're going to be processing what's unfolding in the market. Either direction it proceeds, I believe, will be beneficial for essentially a sort of panic state in the East, as we see this arbitrage situation, possibility, and a higher range advancing with the raw silver. The reality that it's trading within a range now, I think, is a fairly notable matter. Unless someone else can refer to other occasions where there's been a trading range, especially one this wide, nearly double from $61.33 to $128.68. But I tell you, I think to some extent, much of what's transpiring right now is without precedent in certain respects. Will this all return to a level of normalcy? I believe it will. But what I'm stating here from this post is that it's probable we could see it worsen before it improves. But fascinating indeed to observe this unfolding. I think this is the moment we should be reflecting on our portfolios, particularly in tangible form like this. And I wish to urge you to hang on to your stacks at the very least. And if you're adding more, do so at your own rhythm, with your insight of the markets, and with the awareness that at any time we could experience another suppression in silver's value. You never can tell. It's so volatile and so unforeseeable in numerous ways. But I believe, overall, I still stay fairly optimistic about silver as we advance into the next couple of months. Even if we experience a downturn or an ongoing consolidation phase, retracements are healthy to a certain extent, except for what occurred during part of the day on Friday. They're beneficial, and I think we'll witness more of them, plus consolidation and a strengthening of the new foundation for silver. So, that's what I'm anticipating. I strive to deliver to you the latest updates and evaluations within the sphere of precious metals. So, I hope you appreciate what I create here. So, with that being expressed, I'd like to offer immense appreciation to every single one of you for taking the time to watch, and to motivate you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.